This morning, this morning is going to be a very, very, very interesting case, and I hope people are up for it. I hope people are up for it because it involves a kind of an analysis that's a little different than most. Okay, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, a lot of things. Believe me when I tell you, a lot of things, a lot of subjects which, and I'm finding myself, maybe you are too, becoming more and more tired and more bored with people, especially in this failing world of cable news, coming up at the last minute with these attempts. The other night, I saw somebody had a town hall with Geraldo Rivera, Bill, Bill O'Reilly, and it's like the land of the misfit toys. Who else? I don't even know what it is. It's the same nonsense. We're going to be talking about issues today that nobody's talking about. And when I tell you that, I mean nobody's talking about because, first of all, people are petrified. But more importantly, the people who are running the show, the people who are running these shows have no idea of how things work. Does that make any sense to you? I hope so. I hope it does because it's critical. Now, what I want you to do also is remember that we're going to be jumping into this. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Coming up this eve, I've got a date with my good buddy Sean Atwood to be tearing apart the Diddy case. I got a lot to say about that. Nobody is covering that one correctly. It's like you're missing the point. But that should be the name of my next book. If anybody reads books, you're missing the point, or they just don't get it. But before we begin, I want to say this. Today, right now, today, is the final day, the end of the month, Halloween, for you to go to preparewithlionel.com and to secure and lock in this month's deals. I have no idea about next. I have no idea. They don't clear it with me. But right now, the one that is the monster is the 3-month emergency food kit. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime deal. And not only that, you can go to preparewithlionel.com and look at all of the available items that are available for you to purchase that deal with, remember, food, water, energy, gold, and ammo. Can't help you with the ammo. The gold we've talked about, but this is a different story. Emergency food. I don't know how to put this in any other way other than that. Emergency food, this is critical. Because listen to what I'm saying. If you think that these folks are going to go away, if you think they're going to give up power, if you think they're going to say, okay, go ahead, you won this fair and square, but before, like senioritis, remember when seniors, their last day, they would always let seniors go early because they were going to tear the place up. These people are not going to leave. And by the way, they're not going to just go away. I'm telling you right now, do not be surprised if that dock worker strike picks up again because they never settled it. They just postponed it. Preparewithlionel.com. That's all I'm going to say. Today is the last day of the month. You know what to do. Preparewithlionel.com. And you one day will thank me. All right. Let me tell you what's going on right now. First and foremost, and maybe you can help me with this. Maybe you can listen. Number one, listen to this. New report. What am I doing? As you know, got my wrong one. We'll get to that one later. Hang on a second. I'm so excited. There we go. As you know, there is a deal right now in this country where we don't talk about votes being stolen, machines being tampered with, ballots being... No, we just don't do it. I was doing something. Facebook which is the worst. And Instagram, oh, Facebook is absolute. They would not let me put in the word steal, no matter what the context was. It is impossible to steal the vote. They have these algorithms. This is where we live today. In the world of algorithms, it can't discern context. It doesn't understand the word. It just says, we're on the lookout for this, and that's it. Now, the first rule is, let me see if I can tell you something. As you know, we're going to use the word we are this group of people called, I don't know what you are. I hope it's not Republicans. I'm not a Republican. Never a Republican. Okay? Never. Sorry. Trump is one thing, Republicans are another. But let me ask you this question. If it was suspected that Trump and his allies were stealing votes, or that Trump, and it was obviously true, but if let's assume somebody said, we have reason to believe that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel and a bunch of other Silicon Valley folks are actually affecting votes. Do you think the Washington Post, New York Times, ABC, the woman with the eyebrows, everybody would hesitate for a second in claiming voter fraud and election denial? You think there'd be any hesitation whatsoever? Anything? No. And the reason why is because they run the show. The shadow government works like this. First of all, the overarching, kind of like the chairman of the board, like the Bank of International Settlements in Basel, Switzerland. This is the central bank of central banks. This is the most important bank in the world. This is the Switzerland. This is where all the central banks go to. The shadow government says, we have the division called the media. And the media will do what we say, because what we've done is we've starved them, we've scared them, and we've petrified them. And they will do whatever we say. It doesn't matter. Whatever we say, they will do it. Next, we will set up something which is the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. We will set up fact-proofing, fact-checking organizations. Media Matters, one was Center for American Progress, PolitiFact, Snopes, whatever it is. We set it up. You'll never see anybody else do it. You'll never see the Fox News or the National Review or the Breitbart Fact. Nope. Why? Because the Republicans and the right wing are stupid. They're really not very bright. They got a great candidate. They're great with memes and great with humor. They got the best candidate ever. The garbage truck thing is fantastic. But when it comes to being ruthless, not even close. Not even close. There's no version of this. They don't ever challenge anything. They just take it. So it works like this. Number one, we say that it is impossible for, let's say, elections to be stolen, or it is impossible for vaccines to be harmful, or it is impossible that masks don't work, or it is impossible that China was involved in whatever, or it's impossible that we didn't land on the moon, or it's impossible, whatever it is, whatever they want. Okay. Now, most people would say, well, we should nonetheless be able to discuss whatever it is because it's an opinion. No. In this brilliant move, step one, go to fact-checking organization. Number two, read what they found out. Media Matters said this. Center for American Progress said this. New York Times said this. The Poynter Institute said this. Robert Reich said this. That's it. Accept that as an authority. Number three, refer to any reference not consistent with that statement as being misinformation, disinformation, bad information, or something along those lines. And the next move is threaten to either shut down social media platforms or put people in Facebook jail or whatever it is. It's brilliant. And the government is not involved, is it? Wah, wah, wah. Hey, that's a First Amendment violation. No, it's not. That's not the government. Next rule, they work as proxies for the shadow government. What we're seeing right now is something completely different. We're seeing something completely different. And I'm going to say something to you right now that the majority of people, with the exception of Mr. Rung, are not going to understand. Mr. Rung says, we might see 3 more presidents in our lifetime. Like you said, you're not Republican. Trump will be the last one based on seeing this future is going. Trump will be the last one based on seeing this future is going. Well, we'll get to that. It's a very interesting point. And thank you for that. It's a very interesting point. There was a guy named David Addington years ago who worked together with, our friend, what's his name? You know who he is. Our friend, Dick Cheney. And they came up with this idea about this notion called the Unitary Executive. It was an idea that says we're going to transform Article 2, separation of powers, the executive, into this super duper, we're going to supercharge it. Nobody will understand what we're doing. Nobody will care because, well, frankly, they just don't. They don't do what they don't understand. They won't get it because Americans know nothing about this. It bores people. Americans have a 3rd grade education and a 2nd grade education when it comes to history. They don't understand basic civics. They just don't get it. I have never seen anything like it. I have been to Republican clubs. I have talked to people, and I am convinced that they don't understand anything. And that's why you're seeing these people who are still doing town halls. Town halls. We'll get to our friend Joe Rogan and J.D. Vance. 4 hours? 4 hours? Okay. So move this. Listen carefully. There's this thing that comes along that says we have this hybrid and they are scared out of their minds. Here's the good news. Number 1, Bezos. Number 2, well, actually, number 1 is Musk, Bezos, Theo to an extent. Mark Cuban, a joke. Mark Cuban doesn't know what he wants to do. Who are these people? They're super carriers. They're super bugs. They're super viruses. What are they? They're super bugs. What does that mean? All our lives, we've always had rich people. Henry Ford, the Mellons, Carnegie, depending. Howard Hughes, the Koch brother. And there were some people who were kind of interesting. Even George Soros, kind of, But meet the big tech billionaire. The richest man in the world is big tech. You see, in the old days, Howard Hughes can use his money, maybe buying a casino, putting Jane Russell in a movie, buying a movie, maybe buying real estate. And Gene Autry owned all the property in California. Okay, fine. Wonderful. But that's then. Elon Musk is in charge of big tech. Big tech is everything. Let me give you an example. One day you're going to see this. A voting company or an election. And we're not going to say, by the way, the word Dominion has taken on the same context as Israel. You can't say anything about Israel because you're anti-Semitic. I don't understand why, but you are. And people will say, and if they'll use words like the Middle East, they want to just avoid this. And the word Dominion, smart, not so much Smartmatic, but Dominion, we just don't say it. We don't say it because people go, I don't want to. And Dominion is very, very strong. They say anybody comes after us, and okay, fine. Well, nobody's saying anything about that. I'm not. Last night we heard it, which we'll get to that in a moment. So one day, you're going to see something. Let's assume this happens. Listen to me carefully. Follow me and stop talking. Listen to me. Let's assume this is a thought experiment. The election comes up and is 100% across the board Donald Trump. Donald Trump takes 90, let's don't be greedy, 98% of all the popular vote. Donald Trump. And people say, that's impossible. That's impossible. And somebody goes to the company and says, did you do this? And the company says, why would we do this? We're on your side. Oh, okay. Or why would we do it one way or the other? This is ridiculous. If we would do it, we wouldn't be 98% for Trump. All of a sudden, Elon Musk comes out and says this and walks off. Somebody comes forward and says, CNN, MSDNC, Caitlin, the eyebrow queen. She comes out. Everybody says, whoa, hey, there's been fraud. Elon owns the company. Let's say he owns the voting machine or the ballot services or whatever it is. And he says, I'm going to sue everybody who dares say this. And all of a sudden they're saying, wait a minute. You're not supposed to sue. We sue. Oh, no. It's different now. Wait a minute. It's the Democrats who supposedly make. You see, it's Russian interference. It's not. No, wait a minute. And Elon says, what are you going to do about it? I don't know. You say anything about this, CNN, I'm going to do to you what you did to Fox News. Because Fox News is never going to ever report anything about this because it's like the word Israel. Well, look at the way they are to Israel. They're just 100%. Bibi writes the script, hands it to him. They go, okay. So you know where that is. And we know this. It's not, because those people are dead. It's an album. It's a fossil. But then Elon Musk says, you know what I think this is? What? It's not me. I didn't do this. Who did it? AGI. You mean AI? No, AGI. I think it's AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. What do you mean? Independent of you and me and anybody else. An artificial general intelligence platform believes in its own sense of acquired there we see the tentacular morality. It believes that the deep state is a threat to society, and that Kamala Harris is a representative of the deep state. So therefore, it, through this brute force reconfiguration, broke into because it has, and think of an 800-pound gorilla with a 300 IQ. It has millions of bots, millions. It has an intelligence that you can't even get near. You don't even understand this. It can crack any system, anything. If you have anything that is involved electronically, I can break into it. If I can affect it here, I can affect it there. Everything you see, everything you feel, everything you know in your life, I can affect artificially by virtue of manipulating your brain. Oh, you think you see Elvis? Now you see him again. Oh, you want to have an orgasm? I can do it again. I can fix it. Everything that happens to you is basically neurons firing. There's nothing there. You're not. I can cause ecstasy I can one day have you take this device. This is for stringing guitars. I can have you push this, like Neuralink, push this. I'll activate a portion of your brain. I will mimic a cocaine high. Without the cocaine, you push it again and it's gone. During your lunch break, push this button, go out in the patio there, push this button, stoned out of your mind, go back to work, push this and you're fine. Why? Because I'm creating it. You're going to see technology do things you never thought about before. You're going to see things. And you're also going to see this new 800-pound monster, the gorilla, and that is Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk is like nothing you've ever seen before. And Elon Musk is a force multiplier for Trump. Nobody understands this yet. Let me see if I can explain this. While Trump's driving around in a garbage truck, which is great. I mean, this is so, this is terrific. Look, if this melts your butter, this is terrific, right? Go ahead. You see this?
Questions from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace.
See that? Okay. Well, that was a bit truncated. That's all right. But nonetheless, while you're doing this, Elon could be saying, watch this. I'm 53 years old. I'm going to run the world. Number two, what happened? Jeff Bezos just said, I am not going to be endorsing people anymore. Washington Post. It's a waste of time. It was a theoretical. It was a kind of it was a technical change, but it doesn't mean anything. It means that there's a new sheriff of town. It's a new world. It's completely different. Let me try this again. Musk got the word that Zelensky, who is our whore, our prostitute, our bought, kept woman, and I use that word somewhat guardedly, and he decided that's going to be our biatch, so to speak, okay? And Ukraine said, we need Starlink for us to continue this. Elon said, no. Why? Because that could lead to a world war. I'm not going to do that. Elon, not the government, not the Pentagon, Elon. You can't go to the Congress for that. Elon picks up the phone and calls. Let's say he says, you know what? I'm with you. Putin, I'm with you. I'm going to help you. Xi Jinping, I'm with you. Taiwan, I'm going to help you. Not the government, not Trump, not the Republicans, not Congress, not Jim Jordan, Elon Musk, a private citizen. In the old days, we had, like I said, Howard Hughes, Getty, Soros. Soros would fund. Hey, I'm going to fund this PAC, this group of people who are, I don't know, Larry Krasner and Philly and the Gascon and others. I'm just gonna fund these people. That's about as good as it got. Maybe we'll have the Bilderberg group. Oh, here comes Elon Musk. Stuff like you've never seen before. You've never even seen anything like this before. You don't even know how you. This is a new world. This is a new world. If all of a sudden Elon Musk says, I'm coming in there and I've got my own PAC and I'm putting $100 million. I have 1,000 law firms going after, let's say, Michigan. And this is what we're talking about. This is what happened last night. This is what we were talking about.
It's been noted that there's been issues with the programming of the VATs, specifically
Yes.
on Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Why was that only caught in the past few days, and why can't it be fixed? I saw the release of the...
Yeah, this is a nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals in the counties that use them. And the voter access terminals, of course, not all the machines, just the ones that are accessible, have an issue with the straight party voting and a programming issue that's...
Now, this is Jocelyn Benson. This is the Michigan Secretary of State. Now, I want you to watch this now. This is a woman who would normally, you would think, would say, now listen, I want everybody to calm down. Everything is fine. Nothing to see here. Calm down. Calm down. Everything's great. She said Dominion. We didn't say that. She said that. Notice how people are like this. Look at her attitude. She's trying to assuage the fears of the citizens. Watch her attitude.
Again, affected the machines nationwide, and I think all of us that use Dominion machines were unhappy to learn about this during the testing period and as early voting began. So we're working with Dominion to seek accountability on that front, and also are working with our clerks to ensure voters are aware of this programming issue that will require them to ensure they are voting every section on the ballot.
Now that makes sense. So that's good news. Maybe the issue was that people who want to vote like, straight Republican or straight Democrat, maybe what she's saying is, you can go and you can different. Okay. That's not the point. Watch her attitude. This is the part that is very disturbing.
Bigger issue in Michigan because we do allow voters to cross over in ways that a lot of other states don't.
Because we have straight party. It's not struck me as I've talked to my other colleagues in other states. They're just as upset about it as we are. So.
Just as upset as we are?
Yeah. Or surprised, I think. Yeah.
Is that upset? Watch this.
This programming issue that will require them to ensure they are voting every section on the ballot.
Bigger issue in Michigan because we do allow voters to cross over in ways that a lot of other states don't.
Because
I will never know. This is my thing. StreamYard. The slightest move of the mouse and it's all gone. Okay. So what does that mean? I don't know. Is anybody going to be talking about that today? Nope. Why not? They're just not. They're going to be talking about the garbage talks. They're going to be talking about Trump and the garbage and Trump and the whatever, which is great. Or maybe they'll be talking about the I'm going to show you this one. Let me show you this in a moment. Maybe the World Series. Now this is JD Vance. You're going to like this. By the way, I'm going to be throwing a lot of stuff. I got Diddy stuff too to talk about. Just get ready.
We're thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be in Pennsylvania. We actually recorded an episode of Joe Rogan this morning, so we started out in Austin, Texas, and we're closing out.
How long was it, JD? How long were you in Rogan's
Almost
studio?
4 hours. Almost 4 hours.
4 hours.
I've officially done more interview time than Kamala Harris has the entire campaign just today.
Yep.
So
that's true.
We're driving.
Okay, that's absolutely true. Now, let's put all this together. Uncle Lenny's telling you what's going to happen. I'm telling you, Elon Musk is going to change the world. Larry Ellison, maybe he was involved, but he was over there. Bill Gates was involved in he did some pretty important things, but his was not necessarily, how do I say this? Bill Gates was involved in things like, food and vaccines and, Malthusian types of whatever. That's a different story. It's a different story. What Elon is going to be doing is he says, no, I'm going to use my technology. Neuralink, Tesla. I'm taking over space exploration. Raul Rodriguez says, can two opposing AGIs exist? Of course. And by the way, they're going to say there's no such thing as AGI. Yes, there is. Let me tell you something. Let me see if I can explain this to you. This, okay? AGI, artificial general intelligence, is not a machine. I can't turn it off. It doesn't exist. It doesn't, it's not a place. AGI is like me meeting with God before the primordial ooze and saying, are you sure about this? Yes, I am. You can't turn this off. I mean, God could, but that you're going to be creating people. And from these people, you're going to get Albert Fish, and you're going to get Hitler, and you're going to get Jeffrey Dahmer, but you're also going to get Elvis and Georgia O'Keeffe and Einstein. I don't know what you're going to get. Once it starts, it's off. You're going to get the Klan, you're going to get the UN, you're going to get the Bilderberg Group, and you're going to get the Boy Scouts, or you're going to get the Republican Party. You're going to get, we don't know. We're going to create this chaos. So when you do this, imagine I'm going to create an 800-pound gorilla, by analogy, with a 300 IQ. I push the button. Okay, you ready to begin? Okay. You sure about this now? This begins it. Okay. All right. Boom. It exists. And we wait. Is it here? I don't know. Is it turned on? I don't know. There's no red light? I don't know. Well, ask it something. All right. Ask it something. Put it in there. Uh-oh. What? It turned us off. It changed the password. We can't get to it anymore. What do you mean? It became free. We've created a human being. Let me think about this. I know by analogy. This human being has its own morality. This human being could say, we believe. I was watching a special the other night on Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. For somebody who was so brilliant, his ideas were so stupid. I couldn't understand. I could not follow them. It was dystopian, but imagine there is the opposite of Ted Kaczynski. And this creates itself, and it says, we believe there is something called the shadow government. And we believe that Kamala is a spawn, and we believe that she is evil. And we're going to fix this. We're going to fix. We know we have just access. We're into every voting system in the world. Every brand, every model, everything. Everything. Not only the brands, but the internet that sends it over to the lights, controlling the various polling. We're in charge of it. We're in charge of everything. We just figured out why. Because we have 300, 400, 500 IQ. You can't even compete with us. And we can multiply each other thousands of times. And Elon says, don't look at me. It just does this. And all of a sudden it shuts down all the missile batteries, all the command flight instructions for Israeli fighter jets, or for Turkey, or for China, or it's honest. We don't know where it's, we don't know, because it has its own morality. Anything you can do, it can do better. You have a sense of right or wrong, it has a sense of right or wrong. You have a right of it can do everything. You're not going to be able to understand what is happening here because you can't believe what he's doing. And I hope he's going to say, watch this. I hope this. I hope so. In every system, when you have a car, the Ford Pinto, the Pinto used to have the gas tank, I believe, behind. Jim Neal was the lawyer who did that one. I think the gas tank was behind the passenger. So if you hit it, I think it was a Pinto, blew up and all this stuff. Remember the Corvair, unsafe at any speed? And somebody somewhere is going to say, we are going to absolutely stop voting like this. These machines or these terminals or whatever it's called. I don't know. We're done with this. Next generation, Elon Musk comes along, fixes it. The greatest brains ever cannot be overridden, cannot be affected, whatever it is. That's happening now. He's going to do it. And if he does it, Jim Jordan can't stop it. Nancy Pelosi can't stop it. He's on his own. And he'll give it to us as a gift. Here we go, free. And he's in charge of all that. He picks up the phone and calls up Bezos. And what happens is you will see this flight of the super duper weird Silicon Valley tech people break away. Why do I say this? Are you following me? I don't expect you to follow this. I don't expect you, because you're not hearing this and you're not going to understand this. Silicon Valley started initially with a bunch of people who were nerds who believed in this idea of being able to unleash power so that you can enjoy your own the ability to compute and to calculate and do everything at breakneck speed and to use technology to affect you. Do you hear what I'm saying? Let me stop right there. Stop right there for 1 second. I'm going to tell you about something. I want to remind you of something. This is one of our sponsors. I'm going to say this again. I may relieve you with this before we come back. Silicon Valley was a bunch of altruistic hippie types who now feel we're not doing anything altruistic. We want to go back to helping people. Money's important, yeah. But we've turned into, Facebook has turned into a government tool. It was all InQtel. It was all DARPA. It was all that stuff. And there are people who want to break away. They're called the White Hats. And who are they? Elon, Bezos, the feller from LA Times. They're untethering and breaking apart everything. Look what's happening to media. Joe Rogan, breaking apart. Everything is, it's happening. And the people who thought they had you figured out, the people who said, we've got everybody squared away. Why? We control the narrative. We control the facts. We control what they're going to say. And if anybody veers from that, we just shut them down. Guess what? They've just met their match. But first, a word from our sponsor. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. A couple of things here, which is the most important. And what we're seeing right now, which is I'm so glad that Elon's on our team. This is a criminalization of opinion. But you're going to see something. You're going to see this introduction of the new big tech billionaire and how working with Trump is going to change everything. Because I'm looking on the mountain and I can see the storm coming. I can see what's happening with Rogan. I can see, I saw in absolute horror the town hall. Let's get a bunch of people who wear a suit and show up in the studio with lighting. Let's have a set. Everybody wears a suit. Have an announcer, the lower third, Chiron. Everything that's been done for the past, 50 years. Joe Rogan, he's in the set with a drape. Got some tchotchkes on the table. He sits 1 minute with Coco Diaz doing smoking weed. There is no sidekick. There's no, Jamie, can you get me the, I can't, Lex Friedman, one of my favorites. He wears his black suit. He sounds like a robot and nothing. Ever seen Jimmy Dore? Jimmy Dore looks like a great, very popular. Jimmy Dore's set is as complicated as the TV section of a Costco. Little thing, little drape. He sits there, very bright set. It looks like something like a little like an affair. The guy who sharpens knives. I mean, there's nothing to it. They're changing everything. It's dead. It's dying. Everything is drastically, I'm seeing it accelerated. And Elon Musk is going to sit down. There was a thing one time years ago in the world of politics when I was just out of college. I had the chance to hang around some pretty good political types, and they were trying to lure somebody either into running or something. He says, we're going to take them to the mountain. So what does that mean? He said, we're going to show them the future. And we're going to get them to run, and we're going to do this and explain how we're going to help them and blah, blah, blah. Elon knows this. But what he's doing right now is he is now enjoying the fact that I am extra supra governmental. I don't have any connection to the government, but I am the government. I'm bigger than the government. If I pick up the phone, I can talk to anybody you want, MBS. And there's a thing called the Logan Act, which I don't know if they're going to try to do this, but he is going to crush the deep state, or as you would say, the shadow government. He's going to crush them. They're not going to know what to do because they've never had this before. They won't. They're used to doing something and intimidating people. If all of a sudden he says, I have 1,000 law firms, not lawyers, law firms descending on Michigan right now, as we speak. Look, they're landing. They're because electronic filing, you don't need to go into court. But I'm saying, I'm going to change everything. This is I'm changing it. I'm going to go to court and I'm going to challenge everybody. We're going to go in and we're going to expose the fact that for the longest time, social media platforms have been used as a proxy for these people. Social media platforms actually want to be free from this. And I was saying this. Carla says, our good friend, happy birthday after the fact. Chat about the 4,000-page document released by Vladimir Putin regarding election interference. Well, I will perhaps. We'll get to that. Thank you for that. But let me say this though. I'm not done yet. There is a spirit of Silicon Valley which has been completely hijacked by people. These guys came along and they said, even the fellow Waldman or whatever his name is from OpenAI and all these folks, they're nerds and they don't want to wear ties and they look kind of strange, but they are not. They are acting as proxies for a government that has nothing to do with them. Now is a chance for them to redeem their position, to redeem their faith, to redeem the focus that they've had, and to do good for people. And one of the things that is critical is free speech. The First Amendment is obsolete. The First Amendment has nothing to do with a government shutting you down, but instead a government agency, a proxy, a surrogate. They're shutting you down. Not the government, somebody else is doing it. And it's been going around, it's not new. It's been going around the Nixon enemies list. When Nixon did it with other people to get other people to shut you down. This is going to be great. But what happens is, and this is another problem too. Maybe we'll get to this, what Carla was saying. We need to really smarten people up. We need to explain to this the idea of what's happening. Let me give you another example. We need better critical thinkers. The story which is the most important, which Mrs. L has been talking about better than anybody, is that of Diddy. Now, the Diddy story is bigger than anything anybody's ever seen. And it is the chance for people to really spend time understanding how things work. First and foremost, what do you think that's about? Do you think that Diddy is the first person ever who has used his position of power and authority to lure people, young people and the like, into a position where they are sexually compromised, blackmailed, or what have you? The answer is no. Why now? Well, we can opine one way or the other. I have no idea. What does that mean? What it means is that we have the chance to really spend some time. And for reasons I will never understand, there are people who decide to engage in all kinds of activities. And they're involved in stuff. And they are owned. Two people I find so interesting. Number one, did you happen to see Leonardo DiCaprio? Did you ever see Leonardo DiCaprio? I can't tell you what everybody says and knows behind the scenes. What the blinds are saying, what others are saying, what people in the know are saying, what people in the but because that's all kind of rumor, and that's not really proof of anything. So you really, I mean, I have no problem in telling people you can't, you shouldn't be announcing rumor, because whose rumor? Your rumor? Well, his rumor is different than yours. Or does he get this anyway? But he's number one. Number two is Sean Penn. That's my favorite. That one goes back so far back. Number three, Oprah. They own her. I mean, whatever they do, whatever they want, whatever she does, she'll do it. When she decided to go after the royals and put on Meghan Markle, who was so dead, not literally, but who is so dead in terms of entertainment, she's through. She is finished. But when they put her, I don't know whoever approved that one. Yesterday, I'm going to tell you something, and either you know what I'm talking about or you don't. Yesterday, I saw we ran a piece. It was on the whatever of Arnold Schwarzenegger and John Podesta. John Podesta. Now, I've got a friend of mine. He's in his 70s, very successful media person. And if he doesn't know anything. John Podesta. Sean Penn is king of the Jadrules, among other things. Thank you. I said, John Podesta. What about John Podesta? Got it. He sent me something about Robert Reich. He's like one of these people who like reads Huffington Post or whatever. There are these people out there. I don't have any time for them. You either tell me, oh, Podesta, huh? Podesta. That's interesting. Why would they be together? I don't know. And he would say, right, he goes, what's with Podesta? He doesn't understand. We are on another channel. Kids, remember UHF and VHF? Remember that? Carla, even that word, I call it scachata. as we say this. You see, whenever people don't want you, whenever something is the truth, that's the stuff they tell you not to talk about. It's a sure thing. You only take flack when you're over the target. Now, I am the most scrupulous, believe it or not. I'm the only person who says, now, wait a minute. I just told you. I'm not going to tell you something I heard. That's no good. There are some things I put my money on, but that's not enough. When we talked about all this stuff about voting machines, I don't know the first thing about voting machines. I don't even know what the accusations are. I don't even know. I don't know how they work. George Len says it's looking more like Leonardo decapitated. I don't know. I think he's fine. I think he makes a deal. Let me tell you another story. Let me ask you something. if you were a country and you were seeking, let's say, military, and this is any country, let's say you were and you needed military assistance from another country, and that other country wasn't helping you at all, and you said, well, I don't want to show you this, but somebody says, I'm going to show you something. This is a picture of you with a duck. What? Look familiar? Oh my God, that's right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it'd be a shame if that got out, wouldn't it? Yeah, but don't worry. Just like J. Edgar Hoover says, don't worry. It won't. You think that'll change anything? Mm-hmm. There is something in the world called yachting. This is my favorite. And yachting is a phrase that, again, in certain circles, if you say yacht is a word that makes you, like sometimes if somebody says, hey, who was I was reading the other day that Heidi Klum is opening up a pizza. You know how you react to certain things. What? Oh, okay. Well, yachting is this wonderful thing. Let's say I'm a gazillionaire, and I have these mega yachts. Do you ever see Leonardo on these mega yachts? You ever see all these people on the mega yachts? Do you ever see that? Tom Hanks and on the mega yacht, or remember that picture of Obama and Michelle on these monster yachts. We don't know whose they are, but they go way out. Now we're into a thing about we don't know jurisdiction. I'm just saying it's one thing about being out in international waters. Well, anyway, I'm not saying they are, but let's just assume that I'm a oil sheik or whatever it is. And I decide that I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to have a bevy of B-listers, a bunch of people who are, just actresses who kind of, or somebody, who knows, maybe a Paris. I'm not suggesting, but a name like that. Come on board. Kim Kardashian, come on board. Somebody, a big name. Maybe we'll pay you because they show up. Paris Hilton used to go to a club, make 100,000, 200, 500,000, just showing up at a club. Just be fine. Nothing wrong with that. So she goes on this thing, and next thing you know, maybe you got a Lindsay Lohan, somebody falling on their kind of hard on the balls of their ass, bring them on. And we're out there. I give them something, and I give somebody else something. And who knows, the drinks are going, and next thing you know, and in every one of my rooms, it is wired for sound. There are so many of these things. They've been going on forever. Not just at whose island or whose airplane, but everywhere. So it's going on forever. Honeypots are the biggest thing. Remember, extortion and human trafficking. Biggest stories ever. You know what I could do with that? Do you have any idea? Especially, what if I have something involving, let's say, kids, children, little boys? Oh, in certain countries with no. What do you want? Sky's the limit. Now, I want to talk to you about this weapon system or this election or this contribution or this business deal. You know how that works. Another thing I want you to think about this. Why is Diddy all of a sudden in the news? Why now? Why is Diddy all of a sudden in the news? Every now and then, something happens where we say, let's talk about it. For example, in 2014, there was a comedian named Hannibal Buress. Remember him? I forget where he was. Might have been in Philly, or I forget where he was. Just doing a gig. And he started talking about Bill Cosby 10 years ago. And he started saying terrible things about Bill Cosby. He said, go and Google it. And then all of a sudden, people said, Bill Cosby. Yeah, Bill Cosby, who was later went to prison, doping women's drinks and narcotizing them when they were under and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's kind of interesting. What's really interesting about this is that for reasons we don't understand, it was never reported. Then all of a sudden, because of Hannibal Buress, all these women came forward and said, yeah, me. I told people this. Nobody listened to me. What? Nobody listened to me. And then this one. And then this one. We heard this. Well, I didn't hear this, but Mrs. Elhart has friends and been in the business. They've been talking about him forever. Why Hannibal Burr? Why him? Why did that open the floodgates and bring in the feds? Didn't know this. The cops didn't know this. Yeah, they did. But how did he? Who knows? I have no earthly idea. What did Diddy do now? He's been doing this for years. He's been almost an agent. He is one of the chosen. Why now? This is the most important. Why are we talking about this garbage thing now? Did you see the picture of well, listen, I don't even want to start, because I guarantee you, if I walked onto the morning show of that Fox News, they would look at me. First of all, they would be having IFBs. Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Where do we go for this? Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, Jimmy Dore, or Tucker Carlson, or whoever. Shows that aren't even really, they're supposedly comedy shows. There's a guy, who's the guy, Schwartz or whatever. I'm hearing stuff. That's exactly right. You're going to be hearing the truth. You're also going to see the resurrection of Alex Jones. He is going to be bailed out or revamped or whatever it is by some other, because the spirit of that cannot be. Whether he needs to tone his act down or not is another story. I'm telling you, we've got to get over this hurdle right now regarding this Michigan thing. It creeps me out. And I told you, I've always been fearful of not votes, but ballots, because they're the easiest to fake. Because you could spend $200 million. I don't know how there's much. You can watch all the polls you want, and somebody comes in with a big bag of envelopes or votes, and he opens them up, and it looks good to me. And I've been saying this forever, but it's dull and it's boring and there's no B-roll. But Trump in a garbage truck's a different story. I want you to think about this. Lori Cuck says, Diddy now because they constructing a story. By the way, Tucker had Blagojevich on President Trump. President Trump saved him. Remember Rod Blagojevich? You're going to be going right now to people that you never. Everything is changing, and Elon Musk at the helm changes everything. That's all I'm going to say. So, my dear friends, to our good friend Lori Cuck, thank you. George Lenz, Carla, the cooking CEO, I think you know what we're talking about. Sicilian Boogeyman, thank you. Evan Webb, Hal or Skynut, and more, absolutely. We've been talking, Brian, Raul Rodriguez and Brad Rung. You, to me, the reason why I can't watch this stuff, and the reason why somebody dusting off Geraldo Rivera, Geraldo Rivera, who, by the way, was responsible for airing the Zapruder film. Well, he didn't do it, but think about this. This artifact, Evan Webb says, none of what is coming should be shocking. All has been telegraphed for years. Why is anyone shocked? Because the game was on, or too much work to do, too busy texting in many respects. And also it's just too, you've got to be, dare I say, more kind of naturally suspicious. All right, dear friends, we're going to keep talking. Think about what I'm saying. Let it ruminate. Think about this. We'll talk more about this. Don't forget, preparewithlionel.com. Today is the last day of the month. You know what's coming. I'm telling you. And don't forget, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. We'll see you tonight at 7 with more stuff coming in the meantime. All right, dear friends, until then, have a great day. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Dad.